The next tool we're going to look at is the pen tool. I can find my pen tool on my left toolbar over here. Shortcut for this is P for pen. If I select my pen tool, if I click on a point or anywhere on the screen really, and click at a different location, it will create a line. Right, so this is a line going from the first place I put my point to the second place I've placed my point. So I can use this to easily and quickly create different shapes and so on by completing the sort of line by going back to its starting point. So this will create or acts as a shape. Now I can just quickly undo that. I can also create curved lines. So if I, let's say, want to create a curve at the bottom here, all I have to do is, instead of just clicking with my mouse, I click and hold the button or hold the click, and I drag my mouse around. Now as I drag it around, I create a curve using these what we call handles. These handles sort of allow us to manipulate and change the curvature of the line. If I hold the shift key, it will snap my curve to these different positions at 45-degree increments. So now I can drag it down across, holding shift, so it's somewhat smooth. I can then click over here to place my other curve, or to finish that curve off, and then go back to my main shape, like so. If I go back to my selection tool, shortcut V, and click elsewhere, I can see I have created a line. Now this line is quite thin, so I can just make it bigger by just quickly going to properties and increasing the stroke size, so I can see what is going on. If I wanted to manipulate the curve after I sort of created it, I can actually go to the direct selection tool with my selection selected, or my what I've drew selected, go to direction selection tool, and then click and drag individual anchor points, as well as click and drag the handles. I can also manipulate my handles as I'm actually drawing. So if I have my pen tool like so, as I'm drawing a curve here, and I want to change this curvature, I can use hold the Alt key and click and drag this handle to change it, like so. Alongside the pen tool, we have something called the curvature tool. It is or sits next to the pen tool itself. So if I click on curvature tool, click on a location and click at another location, it will try to create a line. But as I move my mouse, it will try to create a curve from the original location to the next anchor point to where I am moving my mouse to put the third anchor point. If I wanted a straight line, I will have to double click, and then I can continue drawing. So if I double click here, it's a straight line, double click, then I can draw a curve. So if I click on here and click over here, we have a curve between these two anchor points. If I were to click this anchor point and I try to bring my mouse and double click it here, sorry about that, click here, it creates the curve there, but now this area is also curved. Double clicking this will not make a difference. This is still regarded as a curve. So the best way is to create a curve here, create a curve here, and at that point, I'm just going to double click this one. The next line will then be a straight line if I continue double clicking it. I'm just clicking undo here and there, just to fix some of the mistakes I'm making. Undo for that, shortcut for that is Ctrl Z or Ctrl Z. Just going to increase the line width just to show you how I've created that with the curvature tool.